Kristen?
Hello. Hi, everybody. Let's see, okay. Let me see if I can share my screen. I joined Climate Rally, I guess in February. It was like the last actual meeting that was in person, which was pretty exciting. And now we're here, and I was also looking into solar and found that the whole process can be a little confusing, as some of you have already pointed out. Which is why we kind of gathered this panel here today, to give everybody a good understanding of what's available in Illinois, the different kinds of products that are out there, and also the agencies that have your back as we kind of forge through this utility land together. So I'll introduce who we're talking to now. Let's see. Can you guys see my screen? Yes. Okay. This is my little promo. Let's harness the sun. Because that sounds really powerful. I'm down. And with that, we've got three awesome speakers. Our first speaker will be Christina Uzzo. She's the Environmental Outreach Coordinator with CUB. If you guys aren't familiar with CUB, it is the Citizens Utility Board. So kind of right there on their logo, they say they're fighting for Illinois consumers. They've got lots of great resources on their website and blog posts that kind of explain everything in real time, right? As the laws are changing, as the options available to us are changing. And I'm hoping Christina will also mention Solarize Chicagoland, as it's a grassroots solar education campaign. And then our second speaker will be Kristen Cunningham. She's an energy consultant with Clearway. By luck of the draw, she's probably just who I got partnered up with when I made that fateful phone call. And she's been really helpful to me to understand what I had signed up for and how the product is structured. Because I really liked the idea of being partnered with a farm in Illinois, like a solar farm in Illinois, making sure that that infrastructure is getting built within our state. And then lastly, we'll hear from Richard Caperton, who's VP of Policy and Regulatory Affairs with Arcadia. And he's got a great history along the clean technology route. He's also worked for OPower, the Center for American Progress, and the National Rural Electric Cooperative Association. So pick all of their brains. We brought them here for you. And with that, we'll get started. So I will stop sharing and I will pass the baton over to Christina.
Great, thank you so much. I'm just gonna go ahead and share my screen quickly. Okay, great. So I'll put my timer on to try to keep on track. But my name is Christina Yuzo, and I work for the Citizens Utility Board. And my role tonight is to kind of give an overview of how we got here and why community solar is an option available in Illinois. So super quickly, Kristen already said some of this, but CUB, we're a nonprofit consumer advocacy organization. We've been around.
Do you have slides? Are people seeing her slides?
Yes, I am.
Yes, yes.
Okay, sorry to interrupt. Oh, there they are. Never mind, go on.
Okay, sorry about that. So we're a consumer advocacy organization, and we fight on behalf of all utility ratepayers in Illinois to try to keep utility rates as low as possible. We're also a part of the Illinois Clean Jobs Coalition, as many of you are as well, fighting for affordable renewable energy solutions at the state level. Since we were founded, we've saved consumers more than $20 billion, primarily by fighting proposed electricity, natural gas, and telephone rate hikes. And then just a little bit about me. I've been at CUB for the past 2 years, where I run the Solarize Chicagoland Solar Group Buy program. This is a program geared towards homeowners who want to go solar. And I studied environmental studies at the University of Chicago before that. So a little bit about how we got here to having community solar as an option. It all started with the Future Energy Jobs Act, or FEJA, that was passed in 2016. I know a lot of you are very familiar with FEJA. It was really groundbreaking energy legislation in Illinois. And it did a lot of great things. And I've broken it down by category. So the first thing it did was it required really huge investments at the utility level in energy efficiency. So ComEd is required to cut electricity usage by 21.5% and Ameren by 16%. Ameren is the utility that covers the the southern 2/3 of the state, and ComEd covers the top third of the state, more or less. In terms of renewable energy, FEJA put us on track to hit 25% renewable energy by 2025. And it also created new programs like community solar, solar for all, and residential solar incentives, and a lot more. And then in terms of job training, because it does have jobs in the name, it put $750 million towards job training, with that focused towards lower income individuals and people of color to try to build a pipeline for people to get into the renewable energy industry, since we all know that's the future of, that's the future of our economy, is building more of those jobs. So community solar came out of FEJA, which was passed in 2016. I added this slide while you were all doing your intros because it seems like it might be relevant based off of what people were saying, kind of a clean energy hierarchy in terms of most impactful to still good but least impactful. So first would be directly installing solar on your property, but as we know, that's not an option for a lot of people. That's not an option for me either. I'm also a renter. But that would be the first thing and the most direct way. Second would be signing up for community solar. That's because with community solar projects, those are all required to be brand new projects built in Illinois. So you're directly supporting the renewable energy economy in Illinois, and you're also adding new renewable energy to the grid. So that would be the second. And then the third would be the green plans that you were talking about, because those purchase RECs or renewable energy credits to offset your energy usage, but there's no requirement that those are new projects. And so it's still supporting renewable energy, but with community solar, it's the added bonus of it being in Illinois and it being new, because that's ultimately what we all want, is more new renewable energy. So hopefully that can help a little bit with kind of the hierarchy of how those fit together. So with community solar, there was significantly more interest in the program than there was funding available, which is a good thing. It's good that a lot of people are interested in renewable energy in Illinois, but it also meant that not as many projects as people wanted were able to get funded, unfortunately. So the process ended up being a lot more complicated and kind of a lot more developer driven and less community driven. I know some of you might have been involved with efforts to identify a local community solar site, but because this ended up going to a lottery, it ended up, privileging companies that could propose 15 projects and kind of get 15 lottery tickets. So it ended up being a little bit more developer driven and a little bit less community driven. That lottery took place on April 10th, 2019. So that was the day that they selected which projects were going to get picked. And it was just completely random. There was a pool for ComEd territory and a pool for Ameren territory. And then it was just names out of the hat. It wasn't on a computer, but it wasn't like a ranking system or anything. It was just random. So for the ComEd territory, there were 433 projects submitted and only 78 got funding. And then for Ameren territory, 486 projects submitted and 34 funded. The reason that there's fewer that were funded in Ameren than in ComEd is because it's based off of how many customers there are. And ComEd territory, even though it's a smaller geographic area of the state, it has significantly more people. So that's the reason that they were two separate pools, and that's why ComEd got more projects. In terms of current community solar offers, CUB is currently aware of 3 community solar offers available to Illinois consumers, and we're hearing from 2 of them tonight, so I won't step on their toes and get into those. But CUB has a really great new resource called solarinthecommunity.com. We launched this maybe a month and a half ago, and I'll screen share it in a moment. But we have a ton of information about how community solar works. We also have a dive deeper section if you want to get into the wonky policy behind it. And we also have a comparison chart comparing the nuts and bolts of the 3 different offers. So we're really excited to have that resource now available to consumers. If you want to sign up for a community solar offer, the only requirement is that you have to be a customer of the same utility company where the project is being built. So you just have to have a utility account. You don't have to own your building or anything like that. It's totally open to renters. And the only people who unfortunately are not able to access it are people who are in municipal utilities like Naperville or Batavia or Geneva. These are utilities that are separate from the ComEd grid because there's not projects being built in those utility companies. So basically it's open to anyone in ComEd territory and anyone in Ameren territory. So if you pay a ComEd bill, you can sign up for community solar. And as we said before, this is a more direct way of supporting new renewable energy in Illinois. So definitely consider it even if you're already on another green plan. For most community solar offers, you'll receive two bills. You'll receive your existing utility bill, but this will be reduced by credits from the community solar company. And then you'll also receive your monthly community solar bill. And I have an example here of what that looks like. So here in this purple box, we have what your bill looks like without community solar. So it's just, you have your electric bill, you have the supply, delivery, and taxes and fees section. And then after signing up for community solar, you would have two bills, but under the supply section, you'll see you're getting all these solar credits for the energy that's produced by your community solar subscription that month. So that's reducing your ComEd bill significantly. You can see in this example, the ComEd bill went from $109 to $59. Then you pay a separate community solar bill, but they're able to offer that energy at a discount because they're getting such a high incentive from the state. And so even though you're paying two bills, you're saving money overall, and you can put them both on auto pay, and then you don't have to, it doesn't create a ton of extra burden, the fact that you have two bills. So this is just a graphic design to show you that even though you're paying two bills, you're saving money overall. And this graphic is also available on our Solar in the Community website. So in terms of next steps, the main next step is to fight for CEJA. This is the Clean Energy Jobs Act. It's in some ways, and in its name, it sounds like it's a follow-up to the Future Energy Jobs Act, but really it's so much more than that I think it's unfair to call it a follow-up, because it would really push us to the next level, put us on the map as one of the best states in the US for clean energy legislation. It's supported by over 200 environmental, faith, and clean energy industry groups. Some key components is that the first step is that it would get us to 100% decarbonized energy by 2030. That means phasing out all coal and natural gas plants, which are the ones that have the most emissions and that also have the worst impact on our health. Those are the ones that are creating the most pollutants. Then the next step would be to get us to 100% renewable energy by 2050. And it would also it has a lot of components to support electric vehicles and electric transit. Most of this focuses on electric vehicle car sharing or electrifying municipal buses and things like that, rather than just on individual electric vehicles, because whenever you do something like that, it kind of prioritizes people that can already afford an electric vehicle. So this is more about democratizing that and sharing the benefits of EVs with everyone, or making it accessible to everyone. And it would also invest even more money in renewable energy job training. It also includes components for a just transition for fossil fuel dependent communities. It's the only piece of legislation that has anything like this in it. So, when a coal plant closes, that can leave a community really in a tough spot, because so many of those jobs in that community are at the coal plant. And so there's a lot of language in the bill for what, ways to help that community transition so that it doesn't just become a ghost town. And it would also include utility accountability measures as well. As we all know, utilities are very powerful, no pun intended, and we need to make sure that they're held accountable, because they provide a necessary service that all of us need to go about our daily lives. So we need to make sure that they're accountable to the people of Illinois. So it's a very comprehensive bill. And if you have any questions about how to get involved, Kristen is involved. I know a lot of you are also involved in fighting for this, and you can get in contact with me as well. That is the end of my presentation. I just really quickly, if you'll give me 2 seconds, wanted to show you the Solar in the Community website. This is what it looks like. We have, tabs on how does community solar work? Why is it possible now? How do I know what a good deal is? Then we have this chart comparing current community solar deals and some other tabs as well. So I would definitely recommend checking that out. And we also have other presentations coming up as well. So if you're interested in learning about about putting solar on your own house, you should check out the Solarize Chicagoland program, and we have a webinar for that next Wednesday. So maybe, Kristen, I can send you some info and you can include it in the follow-up email. But I'm happy to answer questions at the end, and thank you for having me today.
That would be great. Thank you so much, Christina. And next we'll pass the baton on to Kristen Cunningham. Kristen, you're on mute.
Sorry about that. I pressed the button for the presentation, then I had to get back to the Zoom screen because it wasn't on there. So sorry about that. All right, and here we go. So sorry, I was at the very end and I didn't realize it. I want to start by thanking you guys for allowing me to be here tonight. I feel like I'm in great company. And if I seem a little nervous, it's because I'm working from home and I feel like my kids are gonna run up or the dog's gonna bark or the doorbell's gonna ring in the next 10 minutes. But as Kristen mentioned, my name is Kristen Cunningham and I'm an energy consultant for Clearway. And we build and operate solar farms like the one you see here. Joining a community solar farm gives you an opportunity in Illinois to support the development of solar energy thanks to the Future Energy Jobs Act. Our first community solar farm in Illinois is already fully subscribed and under construction, and we have many more in development, which means more renewable energy will be generated in Illinois, which will create jobs, reduce fossil fuels, and help mitigate air pollution all at the same time. And that's a perfect tie-in to our mission, because no matter Clearway's size, our values come back to our heart. And our heart is our mission, which is a world powered by clean energy. We operate dozens of community solar sites across the country and only work with renewable energy. Clearway Community Solar is the largest community solar provider in the United States, with community solar farms in Illinois, New York, Massachusetts, Minnesota, and we support a customer base in Colorado. We develop, own, and maintain our own solar farms. Currently, we have over 15,000 residential customers and 300 plus commercial and municipal customers spread across 300 plus megawatts of solar projects. And by joining one of our community solar farms in Illinois, I promise you, you'll have one great neighbor, which is Northwestern University, because they've subscribed already to 25% of all of our Illinois solar projects. Here's a glimpse of how we make that vision a reality. Our active projects have generated over 469 megawatts of renewable solar energy for the power grid. That's huge. So to show you what that actually means, here are some examples. It's the equivalent to the environmental impact of planting over 2,200 acres of forest in the United States, taking over 73,000 cars off the road for 1 year, and switching 12 million light bulbs to LEDs. Those numbers impress me every single time I see them. Apart from the major environmental benefits, community solar offers a break from the endless cycle of comparing energy rates and simply having savings assurance with a renewable solution that isn't tied to that teaser rate that you probably get whenever you sign up for a green energy company, or they have a markup where you end up paying more. To level set, a recent report from the Illinois Commerce Commission shared that residential customers in the ComEd territory who received electric supply with an alternate retail electric service known as ARIES, that you guys actually paid $144 million more than the ComEd default service cost. It may come to a surprise to many of you that the historical ComEd rates, however they fluctuate, are typically better rates than you'll get with an ARIES, and there's no hidden fees. So if there's one big takeaway here, I'd like you all to know that you can save money and your own time by simply sticking with your utility default rate. Plus, we're going to show you how you can save more when you couple in Clearway Community Solar. So just to summarize some of the benefits of Clearway Community Solar subscriptions, the first thing, I've heard a lot of you guys mention that your roof has too much shade, or you're a renter, you don't have the option to put it on your roof. There's absolutely no rooftop installation with Community Solar. Secondly, there's absolutely no upfront cost to join, and there's no fees for our Community Solar farms. You receive a guaranteed 20% savings on your electric supply every month you're on the default supply rate for as long as you're in our program, up to 20 years. You guys are going to become environmentally and socially responsible by supporting the creation of new local power in Illinois. All of our solar farms connect to the energy grid that you already receive your electricity through, and this reduces pollution and greenhouse gas emissions in the process. And then, although it's always hard for me to say what my favorite thing about Community Solar is, this one's really up there, is that your participation creates local jobs throughout Illinois and some of the communities that really need them most. So I know before you guys saw a little sample of the bill, and I just wanted to show you how it works for us too. Very similar to what was explained to you before. On the right-hand side here, you see your utility bill before you join the farm. And then this is after you join a Clearway Community Solar farm. You're gonna see a new line item on your bill shown right here. It's solar bill credits. And that's what reduces the amount that you owe to ComEd or Ameren, whoever you're with. And then you'll get that second bill that was mentioned before from us. And what's gonna happen is you're gonna see a 20% savings discount on it. So here you got a $100 credit. Over here, the bill for that $100 that you receive is only $80. And so we guarantee that there's a 20% savings on your original bill for as long as you're on the default supply rate with your utility. So I don't know who here wouldn't want to support 100% renewable energy that's locally produced at only 80 cents on the dollar. Here's a quick glimpse of the flexible cancellation terms of our contract. We've made it really convenient. The time to process the request to move you off of the farm is always 60 days. And you'll notice here, if you move inside the service territory, you can take it with you to your new home because there's nothing on your roof. If you happen to move outside the service territory, just let us know, make us part of your move out plan. We have if you see something you like better, I don't think you will, but if you did, you can cancel. We have an early termination early cancellation period. And then you can always pass your savings too. If you can't use it, a lot of times in other states that we operate in, the homeowners are so happy with their savings that they tell the new homeowner about it. So you can even designate your own replacement customer, and that allows them to bypass any waiting list that we may have. And then down here, even, I know it sounds silly, you wake up one day tired of saving money or decided you didn't want to do your part for the planet. I don't think that would happen. But if it did, 60 days notice, and we're currently waiving our early termination penalty for any enrollments that are processed before December 31st, 2020. So there's no fees to cancel if you guys join at any time. And then to tell you how to sign up for us, to sign up for a Clearway Community Solar subscription, you simply go to this website right here. It's clearwaycommunitysolar.com, and if you put /no fee, that's going to take you to where you can sign up with that fee I just mentioned waived. You put in your information and you submit your application. When you're on the website, we're going to ask you to upload your utility bill. That way we can properly size you for the farm. There's a soft credit check, and then we send you the state's required disclosure form and a contract to review and sign. And then I wanted to let you guys know, for attending today, we put together a special promotion. If you choose to enroll in our company by September 15th, we're going to send you a $50 Amazon gift code. And then also, we're going to make a $50 donation to the Chicago Food Bank to support COVID-19 hunger relief. So I know when you sign up, make sure you put in this promo code CRP 2020 so that we know that you attended this meeting and we can get you the gift card and make that donation on your behalf. So I know this was a lot of information. So if you have any questions, you can find most of them on our website at clearwaycommunitysolar.com. You can also contact me directly. I'm available by phone, email, and text. And I'm here really to help you make an informed decision if Clearway is the right fit for you. And lastly, for those of us who cannot, renting, whatever it may be, or do not want to install solar panels on our roof, and even if you have solar panels already, because some of you guys have mentioned that, if you don't have 100% production offset, we can give you a great opportunity to support the development of new solar energy in Illinois, and at the same time reward you with savings on your utility bill. So it doesn't matter, again, if you live in a house, condo, or apartment, as long as you are a customer of ComEd or Ameren in Illinois, you can become a Clearway Community Solar subscriber. Thanks for listening. It was a privilege to be a part of this panel again today, and I look forward to each one of you becoming a part of the Clearway Community Solar family.
Thank you so much, Kristen. That was really helpful to understand how community
innovation. Clearway is the future.
Oh, there's a video promo. So yeah, there are some components there that was even new to me. And we appreciate you looking out for the Chicagoland area and our COVID efforts, because it's not fun. So next we're going to hear from Richard, and he's going to explain another product that we have and how Arcadia works.
Great, thank you, Kristen. It's good to be here with all of you. And I guess I want to start with just some reflection on the introductions that we made earlier. I heard a lot of stories from people who are renters or people who have shady roofs. Nobody talked about their credit score, but we certainly could have if we wanted to share secrets with each other. And all of those things make it really hard for people to install rooftop solar. I think Christina's right. If you can do rooftop solar, you should, but a huge number of people can't. And I always like to start by thinking about that as why community solar matters. So this just has a little more data on that. And I start with the fact that if you don't own your home, it's really hard to install rooftop solar. Like, why would you make a 20-year investment, a large capital investment in a home that somebody else owns and you're likely to leave? So only about 65% of Americans own a home. Then you actually have to be able to afford it. And, you know, most people don't do cash payments for these things. You finance them typically. And so the people that would install or finance your rooftop solar project, they're going to require a pretty good credit score, typically a 700 or above credit score. And just under 70% of homeowners have that. And then you've got all these other problems with roofs. I heard about cedar shingle roofs, for example. I heard about shaded roofs. There are a lot of roofs that just aren't good for solar panels. And so just about 80% of American homes have a solar panel friendly roof. And then you add all those things together, and that gets down to just a third of American households are actually a really good fit for rooftop solar. So what do we do with the other 2/3? And that's where community solar comes in. Arcadia's mission is making renewable energy accessible to everybody and making it an easy choice for everybody. And that's why we have focused on community solar, which actually can serve everybody. So let's dig a little deeper here. Sorry. Okay. So I like to, that's why community solar matters. But I also like to think about who benefits from community solar. And it's not just the people that subscribe to it who get bill savings. It really is about a community. So here on the left, there's a picture that we took when I went to a ribbon cutting of a community solar project in New York. This is the community solar project on the right. And you'll have to forgive me, it looks like I'm texting in the photo here. But we just saw like a really cool experience. And there are a few different people in this picture that I want you to see. These people right here in the hat and the woman next to them, they owned the land. They're dairy farmers. And I don't know how many people here follow the dairy market, but it's really hard to make any money in dairy right now. And a lot of dairy farms are going under, and these people needed some other way to get revenue for their farm. And so they leased their land to a community solar project, and that is going to keep them afloat. So it's great for the landowner who is struggling otherwise. This woman right here is actually a neighbor of theirs who is subscribed to the project. So she is just like all of you. She will save money with this project. Not pictured here are some workers. And I always think about the workers that installed this. They were actually on site that day doing some finishing work. And there were a lot of people on this site for months at a time doing skilled work. So that's really valuable. And then the other people, we were actually watching them speak at this time, but the other people were local leaders representing local government. And nobody likes paying taxes, but we have to fund local government operations. And adding to the tax base by building community solar projects is really helpful for funding local government operations and municipal government operations. So those are just a few of the people that benefit. Again, I think it's not just all of us as community solar subscribers, but it is about the landowner. It's about the workers. It's about everybody in the community that benefits from an increased tax base. So that's another reason why I'm passionate about community solar is the really broad benefits. So I can talk a little bit more about Arcadia's specific offering. And I'll be honest, it's got a lot of overlap with what Clearway was talking about. And I think what Christina was talking about as best practice in the market. There are a few things I'll flag for you. First is we have a guaranteed savings product. Everybody that is on a community solar project with Arcadia will save money, and it's structured just the same way that Clearway structures theirs, that you get a fixed discount on the bill credits that you receive. Now we do two things different. One thing is that we don't charge any early termination fees. A community solar project is going to be around for 20, 25 years. And I don't know where I'm going to be in 20 or 25 years. I don't think anybody here is very confident in where they're going to be in 20 or 25 years. And we decided that it's just not right to charge people if they leave a project 15 years from now. They've been great customers. There's no good reason to charge an early termination fee. And then of course, there's just all sorts of things that are out of your control. Like, if somebody gets a better job in a different area and has to leave the utility service territory, I don't want to penalize them for that, things like that. So we don't charge an early termination fee. And then the other thing that we don't do is we don't do any sort of credit check or income verification. This gets right back to Arcadia's mission of making renewable energy accessible to everybody. So when you sign up with us, we would not do any sort of credit check for you. The other thing I'll flag here, and I don't have a slide on it, is that we've heard about two bills. Arcadia actually combines the utility bill and the community solar bill. So you would get a one bill experience. And the dollar figures would work in the same way that you saw in the previous examples. The difference would be that you would get one statement. It would be Arcadia branded. It would have everything combined, and then we would directly send the utility portion of that to the utility and pay your utility bill on your behalf. We do that because we believe it's a better customer experience for you to see your savings right next to your what you're paying to be part of a community solar project. So having those come in one consolidated statement, we think just makes it easier for people to understand exactly what's happening with their energy use and their bills. And then finally, I just want to show a little bit more about the customer experience. Everything that we do is online. We don't have anybody going door to door. When you sign up with us, it's going to be via our website. And so we provide a modern digital experience. And you get some cool things when you get that. First is you can actually see here it's set to monthly, but I believe we can go to hourly and certainly daily on the production from your community solar project. So that's really exciting. And you'll see your savings here. And then second, I think this is really cool and gets back to the idea of community solar really being all about a community. We show you exactly where the project is. This one, of course, is not in Illinois, but we'll show you exactly where the project is, show you where the other subscribers are, roughly speaking, and give you some more information about the project. So you can really learn about the solar farm that you are supporting. Now, I think that's a pretty good customer offering that we have, and a lot of people agree. We are not, we are different from Clearway in that we don't own and operate the projects themselves. We just do the subscriber management, and we are the largest residential subscriber management company across the country. We're operating in many of the same markets that other companies are operating in. And you see here in Illinois, we are contracted to manage about half of the residential subscriber share. We only serve residential customers. So finally, you can certainly sign up with us at arcadia.com, but you can also follow us on social media. We're on all of the main social media channels, and our handle is Arcadia HQ, which you can see in the picture here. So that's all I had. Thank you for spending time with me. Thank you for having me in from Washington, D.C. And Kristen, I'll turn it back to you for how you want to proceed.
Thank you so much, Richard. That was really enlightening as well to help understand how everything is structured. So I guess the next portion of the evening is we are going to answer some questions. If you have any burning questions, please submit them in the chat bar, and we'll read them off. And I believe Ray is gonna, he's been moderating all the questions, so he will read off the first one.
Thank you. So the first question was from Gwen. She had a question about just transition with regards to CEJA. What would just transition look like, and would new jobs provided be in the renewable industry?
Sure, I can take that one. So one of the just transition component would do a couple different things, and it's not all just jobs. One of the main ones is that it would shore up the tax base, because a lot of communities that have coal plants they're in like less urban areas, so they're smaller towns, and the property taxes that are funding the schools and funding the local government, a huge portion of that is made up from the property taxes paid by that coal plant or that nuclear plant. And so when that plant leaves, and a lot of times these fossil fuel companies, you know, like they'll announce that they're leaving like with only a year notice or 6 months notice. And so they'll just up and leave really quickly. And so that not only leaves people without jobs, it also leaves a school district, you know, with way reduced funding. So CEJA has provisions in it to make up that loss in property taxes for a certain number of years, and then phase that out so that the community has more time to transition to new ways to, you know, support themselves. And then there's also job training components, but it's not prescriptive. It doesn't say what that job training has to be, because sometimes, you know, where a coal plant is, maybe that's not the best spot for solar, or maybe it's not the best spot for wind. And so if you just say like, we're going to retrain all the coal plant operators as wind farm installers, that sounds really good, but then it's kind of limiting, and it doesn't really necessarily match what that community wants and what works for them. If those jobs are not, you know, if they end up with training in a job that's not near them. So it gives the communities options to bring in what would work best for them, which, you know, could maybe be renewable energy, but I think it's good that it leaves it open and isn't like telling people what their next step has to be. So great question.
So the next question was from Don. Don wanted to know, does Community Solar offer solar backup solutions that utilize batteries or other energy storage?
So not at the moment in Illinois. We use the grid to flow the green power to customers. So for safety reasons, our system operates in accordance to the utilities instructions. So not at the moment.
Okay.
Richard, your comment?
Exact same.
Just for clarification, so is that just for Illinois? Illinois doesn't allow that? Or there be future plans to add storage? I mean, that's certainly in solar systems seems to be the move.
Yeah, we sorry, go ahead, Kristen.
No, it's okay. I answered first, so go ahead.
We hear conversations about that more in other states. We do hear a lot of conversation about community storage. Nobody is doing it today, and I'm not aware of any community solar projects across the country that have storage attached to them.
Well, I'm trying to compare it to a just regular generator, gas powered. I know I'd have to put a solar panel on my roof, and then I'd have a battery storage somewhere in the house. But I didn't know if you guys, Community Solar, provides an alternative to that, because the cost for that is about twice as much as a Generac.
Yeah, so we have some emerging partnerships that are not active yet, but that may get closer to that, where we could, you could be a community solar subscriber with us and buy or finance a battery to put in your house, but that is not active today.
Okay, no, I'm looking for next year, so.
Yeah.
Thank you. So the next question was from Pam. If ComEd provides your energy, but is supplied by Clean Source Energy, one of the green plans, can you still qualify for community solar?
So you can subscribe to Community Solar, but the direct answer really, it's going to be no if you're looking for savings, because you're required to be on the default supply rate with the utility.
Yeah, I can say a little bit more about that. Exact same with Arcadia, that we think it's best for the customer if they are on the default supply rate. The reason for that is that in Illinois, it's unique among states with community solar. The community solar credit, or how much you would earn as the project generates power, is directly linked to your power supply rate. And if that varies over time, then the value of your credits would vary over time. So we think the most predictable thing and the best thing for customers is to be on the default supply rate.
So if someone wanted to was on a green plan and they wanted to switch to community solar, the recommendation would be leave the green plan, go back to ComEd, and then sign up for community solar.
Yeah, just like Christina said, I would have the same hierarchy of clean energy options.
So I would take the next question was for myself. Just from what I heard, there is no contract term. I was expecting to hear you got to sign up for 10 years or some period. There is no contract term. There is just a fee if you were going to leave. Clearway was going to waive that. The reason I could see for leaving is that, oh, I'm going to put a new roof on my house, and that's the time to get solar panels, and so it's more advantageous to go there. Can you just talk about that?
Yeah, and if you decide to put panels on your roof, you're gonna know well 60 days more in advance. So you just give us a call and let us know, and we'll process to transfer you off the farm. Also, if you put panels on your roof, you may not have 100% bill offset. And in Illinois, they allow you to have both community solar and rooftop solar. So what you're not able to produce on your own roof, we can produce for you and pass on savings.
Yeah, and Ray, the other reason that, and what we see as the primary reason that people leave a community solar project is because they move and leave the utility service territory. And again, we don't want somebody to be in a long-term contract. I don't think anybody wants them to be in a long-term contract and pay a penalty because of that. So you could think of ours as a month-to-month contract.
And that answered our last question that Donna just submitted was, if would community solar work if someone gets 75% of their power from the rooftop panels? And answer is yes. So Jane just submitted, will community solar projects in Illinois eventually be fully subscribed? Do you have an estimate about when this will be?
So the state has a goal of becoming 25% energy renewable reliant by the year 2025. Our solar farms are permitted and under development. We know the first one should go online towards the end of this year. And then we have lots more coming on next year. The first one is fully subscribed. The second one is nearing capacity. And all of our solar projects have always been fully subscribed before they've been activated.
Yeah, we had a project go live in the Ameren service territory already. We have projects going live very soon, more projects in both ComEd and Ameren service territory. And we expect those to be fully subscribed to.
Christina, can you talk about future projects and for community solar? What comes after these ones that were approved to get built out?
Yeah, so there's about 100 projects that are being built that are at different stages of development. Some of them, as Richard and Kristen said, have already been energized. Some of them will be built later this year or early next year. After those next 100, it's a little unclear. When the Illinois Power Agency saw that there was going to be a lot of interest in the program, they went ahead and basically made all the funding for the next 3 years available all in the first year, because they knew that there was enough interest in the program, both from developers and from consumers. There's no reason to just like make people wait 3 years to start the process going. So that means that there is not another lottery date coming up anytime soon. And that's another reason to fight for CEJA, because the Clean Energy Jobs Act would greatly increase funding for renewable energy, and it would increase the funding for community solar projects, and it would just in general get us to 100% renewable energy by 2025. Or sorry, no, by 2050, not by 2025. That would be great, but that's not what proposes. So yeah, we would have to wait at least another handful of years before we would have another lottery. But hopefully by that point we will have passed new comprehensive renewable energy legislation that will really just like push us even farther forward.
So we'll just have one more question here, then I think we have to move on. And it was Carrie asked, can solar farms be constructed on top of toxic land? Chicago land has a south side where a number of old factories. So I'll first start to answer that. Is as an environmental engineer and working in manufacturing, I've been involved with a couple of legacy facilities that had on-site landfills, industrial landfills, and solar power panels was one of the big alternatives for the long-term use of that property. So I know Illinois, we like to put golf courses and sport fields on top of landfills, but solar is a very common one. I'm wondering if Christine or Richard, any of your projects were on old landfills?
Yeah, we don't have one on a landfill, but we do have one that was built in Rockford. It was built on an open pit gravel mine that's been closed for 30 years. This summer, 7,000 panels are on that site, and this will provide credits for low-income households actually in that area.
So thank you for everybody's questions. I think we'll move on with the rest of the meeting.
Thank you so much to the three panelists. This has really been interesting, and I think, as you know, a lot of the people in the audience knew quite a bit about solar, but they now know a lot more. And thank you all for taking the time. And thank you, Kristen, for moderating and for putting this together.